Hey there, drone fans. Today I'm outside with the brand new DJI Mini 4K drone, and I'd like to give you a few good reasons why I think this is a great drone for new flyers that are looking to join the hobby, or even experienced flyers that have a drone already and are looking for a second drone that's smaller and a little bit more portable that they can take on vacation and capture some incredibly good video and some pretty amazing pictures. And the Mini 4K can do that and so much more, because when DJI designed this drone, they tried to pack as many features as possible into a smaller frame and make it budget friendly. So what you're going to find when you compare this drone to others on the market at the same price point is that you're getting a whole lot more intelligence and a whole lot more features in the Mini 4K. And the reason I say it's great for new flyers is because it's got a lot of automated features that make it easy to take off and land. It's got filming features that'll automatically fly a pattern in the sky by tapping a button on the screen. And it captures, again, some pretty incredible video. So the basic specifications of the drone are that it weighs less than 250 grams, which is really important because you won't have to worry about registering it in the US, so you can basically get it. You pass a really simple test, and then you can fly that drone pretty much anywhere as long as you stay out of NFZs, you keep it in line of sight, keep it under 400 feet, you don't fly over people. So there's some basic rules, but if you use common sense, you can put the drone up pretty much anywhere. In addition to that, it'll fly for 31 minutes on a fully charged battery. Now, that's incredible with a drone of this size. You'll find that most drones in this price range usually fly 10 or 15 minutes, and you've got to land them and put a new battery and put them back up. So having a single battery that'll fly for up to 31 minutes is pretty incredible. It also can fly incredibly far, so up to 10 kilometers of connection distance between the drone and the controller. Now, you can't fly that far because we have a visual line of sight requirement in the States, which means you have to keep the drone in your line of sight when you're flying it, but I can fly at a good 2,500 feet with a beacon on it and still see that drone. And the important thing about that signal strength is that it's based on a proprietary technology from DJI called OcuSync 2, which means it's going to guarantee a rock-solid signal at a really long distance. That means you'll never have to worry about having that drone in close and losing connection and having it head off towards the horizon. It also has a ton of safety features built in. For example, the drone itself is monitoring the battery level. So if you fly the drone too far and you're not paying attention to the battery level because you're all excited, when it gets down low enough where the drone can't make it back, it'll actually take over control of the drone, fly back to your takeoff point, and land pretty much where it took off. It's also monitoring all the internal systems like the GPS coordination, the balancing systems inside there, the ESCs, the coordination of flight. All of that's being monitored by the drone. And when there's something in there that doesn't look quite right, the compass is a little bit off, the IMU is a little bit off, the drone takes control and says, I don't really trust the way this is flying, let me return to home and land. So you've got protections built in to not have that drone take off towards a horizon or drop into a forest like I'm standing in today. So a lot of safety features, plenty of flight distance, long flight times. What about the camera? Well, this is where it gets really good. So a drone of this size has no business recording 4K footage. This one can record 4K footage. It can also record 1080p footage. So you've got essentially a flying camera in the sky that you can fly very far, you can fly it very long, and you've got beautiful video that you can capture, photos as well. So again, if you're out on vacation, you want to put the drone up and capture the kids at the beach, or maybe you want to fly it with some friends at a party and give them a wave, you can do all that, and this drone's going to take care of it. Now, I want to show you a couple of safety features that are built in, or ease of use features, and the first one is that one button takeoff and landing. And to do that, you can push a button on the screen, then hold your finger on the icon, and the drone will take off and stay at about 3 feet off the ground. And the reason that's important is because a lot of new flyers worry about flying a drone. They worry about the drone drifting all over the place. They worry about how do I take off and how do I land when it comes back. Well, DJI made that incredibly simple. So the one button takeoff and landing is easy to use. You'll tap the screen there. You'll see another circle line up in the center. Just hold your finger on that circle and watch what happens with the drone. It spins up, it takes off, and it hovers at about 4 feet off the ground. And look how stable that is. That's not moving anywhere. And again, that's another big difference between the Mini 4K and a lot of other drones in that category, because most drones that are in that price range will drift all over the place, and you'll find yourself having to trim them to make sure they're stable and they're not moving around on you. With this one, once you put it up in the air, look how stable it is. It's gonna stay exactly where you want it. I'm not touching any joysticks. So when you're flying this, if you get into a little bit of trouble near a tree, just take your thumb off the joystick. It's gonna stay right where you left it. It also has a brake button on it, so if you're getting too close to a tree, hit the brake button, it'll stop in midair and it won't run into a tree. Let me show you how responsive it is. So the joysticks for elevation are here, for spinning are here. This is up and down, back and forth. So let me take it back. Look how fast that is. And look how responsive that is to the joystick movements. And look how it stops. Now I took my thumb off the joystick, it's staying right where I left it. So again, there's no drifting towards a tree or towards a branch or something. You can trust this drone is gonna go exactly where you want it to go, and it's gonna stay there in the air. So now when I bring it back over the pad, so let's pretend, for example, you've been out flying, you got about 20 minutes on the battery, you've had a lot of fun flying it, and you've got to land the drone. Well, this is where people get nervous. So all you have to do is hover it pretty much over the mat, and you'll do the same thing. You'll tap this icon on the left, then hold your finger on the center one, and the drone will actually land pretty much where you have it, hovering over that pad. And I always recommend using a pad. I had to cheat a little bit there. I always recommend using a landing pad, because when you're out in the woods like this, you need a safe place to land. There's a lot of sand here, a lot of debris, sticks and twigs and all kinds of leaves and things. And if you take off from that, you're probably okay. But when you try to land, you're gonna kick up a lot of that debris, which is gonna get up in your camera and your gimbal and everything else. So having a landing mat like this means you've got a nice clean place to take off and land from, especially if you're flying in the winter where you've got snow on the ground. It just gives you a really good place to know that you're safe to take off and land from. It also lets people around you know that you're flying a drone, so that way they can be a little bit more cautious. All right, so takeoff and landing is incredibly easy. Let me talk about the automated features that are built in. So DJI's for a long time had automated features in most of their drones. And what I mean by that is, in the application, you can tap a button, have the drone automatically fly away from you as it's taking photos and videos of you. You can also have it circle you in the air and keep you in the center of the frame. It can do a bunch of other automated flight patterns. So when you think about that, if you're a new flyer, one of the things you're going to take some time mastering is joystick control. It's not that hard, but you're going to take some time figuring out how to use circular pattern around a particular object like this. And to do that, you're going to get good on the joysticks. But the first day you're flying it, you can tap a button on the screen and have the drone do that automatically. You draw a box around something, it'll actually circle around it. It'll fly away from that and capture some good video. So if you're taking it on vacation, you don't have to sweat the details of figuring out how am I going to get that perfect shot of my family. Just put the drone up with the automatic takeoff, put a box around your face, hit the button, it'll fly away from you, keeping your family in the center of the frame and in focus, which is pretty incredible. In addition to that, you can fly it yourself. You've got two joysticks right here. Again, you can go through the manual and understand how they work, but essentially this one will spin the drone in place, it'll elevate, it'll descend. This one over here moves the drone horizontally in that plane of movement like that. Then you have a control on the back right here that controls the gimbal. So you can pan the camera down or you can tilt the camera up. So you've got a lot of control over zeroing in exactly what you want to take a photo of. And again, since you've got so much flight time in the air, you've got plenty of time to frame your subject, make sure the focus is right, make sure everything is working, and you can capture that photo. The last thing I want to mention is that DJI actually added a digital zoom to the product. So you can actually zoom in from your position. So if you're hovering here, maybe there's a deer over here you want to get a photo of, you can go close, but then you're going to scare the deer. So stay in position, use the button on the front to actually zoom in on that picture or zoom in on that video to capture that deer at distance. And the zoom feature digitally is normally a problem for most drones because when you zoom in digitally, you're basically blowing up the picture and you'll see a lot of pixelization from the white spaces in between the pixels. What DJI did was build in a pretty sophisticated engine that can actually fix that. So when they're doing the digital zoom, it almost looks like you've got an optical zoom pulling it in. It's unbelievably good. So all those things being equal, this drone should be 2 or 3 times the cost. It really should. Compared to the market today that's out there, I think DJI has done a phenomenal job with this product, building a drone that's affordable, that's easy to fly, it's got a lot of safety features built in, it's got a lot of AI built in with the automated flight patterns, and it's just a whole lot of fun to fly. So if you've ever thought about getting into this hobby and you're worried about how hard it is to fly a drone or gee, what kind of features do I need? This is a great place to start because this drone gives you everything you need to get up off the ground, have a lot of fun, capture some amazing pictures, and just have a fun day with the family. And the key here is, this drone compared to some of the bigger drones probably gives you 80–85% the same experience as you're going to get on those bigger and more expensive drones. And the best part is if you like it and you're good at it, you can get good at flying it, you can always upgrade later to something a little more sophisticated if you need that. And that's pretty much all I had for today. So you can tell that I like this drone an awful lot. I think you're going to like it as well. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you found value in this review.